Welcome to your mason, your space to pause, to calm down, to reconnect to your roots, to awaken your spirit and to see what truly matters. It's called Your Amazing for a reason. You are naturally creative, resourceful and whole. Nothing's broken, nothing's missing. And today we talk about Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Abdelrahman introduced me to it. He's read it multiple times. I've just started and we thought, let's explore what stands out, what we take into life and coaching. And maybe it supports you too. I'm Yorma, a coactive coach, and with me is Abdelrahman, coach in Dubai and coactive faculty. Abdelrahman, welcome.
Thank you, Yorma. It's good to be here with you on this podcast.
Thank you for being here. So, who are you and why does this book matter to you?
Okay, who am I? Well, I'm a soul, to start with. I'm a Jordanian national living in Dubai. Used to work in the construction industry for 16 years of my life. I'm a son of a civil engineer and both my parents are civil engineers. So I got into that from the beginning until I realized after only 16 years that this is something that is not my full passion. And I dove into something that I'm passionate about, which is coaching. And I got introduced to coactive coaching and I fell in love since the first course. Which led me to actually resign my career and just jump into becoming a full-on coach. And as you just mentioned in your intro, I became a faculty. I love it so much that I am training coaches to become coaches right now. I know that when you say, who are you? This is a big question. And I just said what I do, what is my education and all of that. I'm a husband. I'm 43 years old. Someone who likes adventure, and I have both sides. The adventurous side, crazy adrenaline stuff, and the mindfulness side of meditation and energy work and breath work. So that's who I am in a nutshell. And right now I have an actual standing practice of coaching and leadership advisory. I do multiple things in the development world. That's who I am.
What is it about the book I mentioned, Becoming Supernatural?
So I mentioned that there was something that changed in my life. And the beginning of the change was not only coactive. It was literally starting from that book, Becoming Supernatural, where I got to read it. And when I read that book, it just changed my whole perspective on what life is and what are we made of. And it's basically, I keep calling it the user manual of our bodies, of our minds, all of this. I mean, we have this amazing piece of technology that's, and some say it's the most complex piece of technology that exists in the universe. And we just born with it and we just started learning, figuring out things on the way and what we have been taught. Yet there are so many facets of things that we do not understand. And that book gave me that understanding. It just literally opened the veil of what reality is. And from that new understanding, from that new perspective on life, it led me to the journey that I'm here in today. So yeah, that's why this book. And I've been recommending this book for so many people. I gave this book for so many people as a gift because of this is how much I believe it's absolutely instrumental for anyone to understand themselves and the reality that we are operating in.
Yeah, and I think that was also what stuck to me. And I think the first feedback I gave you was, this book is helping me on my journey, becoming my true self, because it has words and things I can understand. And I'm kind of a person that wants to understand even deeper and more. And I think also already in the first pages, there were kind of things written down where I was like, oh, this is how you can call it what's happening with me when I'm sitting in meditation, or for example something else, and life happens, and it just helps me. I don't want to say sense making. I just want to say it helps me to stop thinking about it. If I have the words, I can check the list and say like, okay, now I have words for this. Now I have to not think about it anymore, because it's kind of, yeah, I know what it is now and I can just accept. So it helps me to better accept and to just be. Maybe that's it. Less doing, more being. So it already helps me. And what kind of came up for us, and it was your idea, but I had the same thought. This is what I wrote you after you wrote me, let's maybe talk about the book, is our idea now to, I just started the book, read the first 2 chapters, and today the idea is to talk about the first chapter, and you reread it now. You've read it multiple times, as I said it, and maybe dig deeper into the book. I'm starting it, and I think it will help me to read the book even from the beginning at a deeper level. And we want to maybe try to implement it even more into our lives, our maybe life as a coach, our practicing as a coach, and also maybe that our clients and coaches can profit from the knowledge that we have here in this piece. So yes, thank you again for making this happen. It means a lot to me.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
My pleasure, Yorma. I want to build on what you said. You said this book gave it some words for you to just have it out of your mind. Me being an engineer, I was trained for so long in my life to understand how things work, to be able to apply, right? Even Dr. Joe Dispenza in his talks in the book, he says it's demystifying the mysticum. What stood out in this book, that it's based on scientific research. There's brain scans. There are things that prove how things are working. And that, for me, before this book, before getting this knowledge, tell me to meditate for 3 minutes, I couldn't. I literally couldn't. Once I understood what's happening, as you said, what's happening in my body, what's happening in my mind, and following specific techniques, suddenly an hour and a half meditation is something that I enjoy rather than struggle with. So I just wanted to add a bit on what's the impact of knowing how something works. And that's what I was referring the user manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say in general? We will talk about the first chapter, but the whole book, what was the most important thing that you kind of took from the book or learned from the book?
Everything is made of energy. So that concept on its own makes me understand when we say everything is connected, when we say we are all the same, we are all one. What does that mean for an engineer? What you're talking about? I am separate. I'm here. You're there. What do you mean we're all one?
Yeah.
So the fundamental understanding that in the core of everything that we perceive in the 3D world as physical, it is made out of waves and energy, magnetic field, and that's all one. There's no space, there's no time. It's all in one big soup of energy. And we're made of the same things. And that's what I would say the core fundamental fact for me in this book was this idea.
Where's that helping you on a maybe daily base?
The understanding that there's no separation and it's just energy manifesting itself in different ways. It's serving me that I am the author of my life. I'm the creator of my life. Like not theoretically, not philosophically, like literally. That's how it serves. Like the idea of being a victim for circumstances. I am sure you're already seeing where this is linked to coaching, that I am victim of circumstances, or I am like this because of whatever. The understanding that I am the creator, I am the source of my experience. That's where it's serving me in my life. What about you? you started reading with the first 2 chapters, and you said it's already had an impact on you.
Yeah. I would say zooming out, just the word and my imagination of talking about space. I'm in my body, but being a part of what you just said, and it's connected to everything is energy. So what is everything? Try to see everything, the universe and just space itself, and me kind of being aware of me also being something in it. This zoom out is kind of the biggest zoom out I can do. It's not seeing myself from a helicopter or from the roof. It is so much zoomed out that this kind of helps me to really go somewhere else, also in meditating in the morning. And I think I got this idea from the book, from the beginning, and also I started a meditation right away, a morning routine that I implemented in my morning routine for half an hour. That is exploring the future self and is also the zooming in and zooming out of space. And that kind of is already something that helps me to just be this energy. And the zooming out is kind of the picture that is new for me and is helping me so much to just be more and also be connected to everything else. I think that's the most,
When you say that, what's coming to me, it's an integration somehow. You integrated. That's how it feels to me when you're saying that. Integrated into what already is. It's just you're conscious about it right now. That's how it feels for me. So by the way, this started for me in COVID area, in COVID times. That's when I started reading the book. And since then, it's been a journey of transformation, of learning, trying, applying, falling out, falling in, as anything in life is. There's no straight line into any destination. It's always, there's, even when you think about it, everything is waves, and the waves have peaks and valleys, So it becomes, with having that understanding, you asked me how did it serve? The understanding of everything is energy, and accordingly everything is waves, and waves have peaks and valleys. So life can be up and down, right? But do I choose to make it up and down, going upwards and elevating and becoming better, or up and down and staying where I'm at, or up and down and going downwards? Yeah. It's as I said, it's a completely different perspective.
I love the picture. Yeah. And you decide.
You decide. Once you understand you're the creator, you're the source, it's a very empowering idea. Yeah. It's a very empowering fact, even. I wouldn't say an idea, it's a fact. And you choose where to go with it.
Yeah. And it's about, it never stops. That is also something that is coming up for me right now when you say that it's in motion. Energy in motion. Emotion, maybe. There is so much in it. It never stops. And we talk about, or I in my job and previous jobs, being an agile coach, talking so much about complexity and everything. And it's just the simplest way of everything is in motion all the time. There is no stopping. And all this keep moving forward, whatever sayings, it's moving all the time. And you are the creator of where it kind of goes. So you are having an impact on that. But it feels good that it's kind of in motion for me to accept that everything is moving all the time.
Well, when you think about it, when you're talking about it, if it's not doing this, it's flat lines. And we know what a flat line means.
We all know that picture, right? It comes with the sound already with me. Beep.
Absolutely. So energy in motion, which is emotion. This is once we reach to that chapter in the book. Also, even that we say energy got stuck. You know, there's a book called Your Body Keeps the Score. And people say there's stuck energy in me. And what does that mean? Even that, in the book, we will have a biological, physical understanding. How does that look? And how does that? So it's just mind-blowing, literally mind-blowing book that have served me so much in my life. So much.
And
yeah.
please.
Do you want to start talking about the first chapter, or there's something else you want to touch base on? Because literally this could, as you know, we've done this before, and this can take hours
Yes.
of dancing around concepts.
Yeah, thank you for taking this lead. Yes, I think it makes sense to let's dive into chapter 1. So you reread it, and
Yes.
what came up for you?
If you don't mind, I will reverse the question to you, because I've read it so many times. I heard, I know where I stand on this. I'm curious, and that's part of the reason why I asked you to read the book, because I was so curious what will come out to you out of this. So if you would share with me what are your points, and then I'll tell you what stood out for me, or how am I applying it in my life.
Yes,
how
sure.
it's serving.
Yeah. And first of all, I have to say, sticking to one chapter is already really hard. There you see, like, everything is in motion, and I started the second chapter, and now I know, was it first or was it already second? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What stuck to me was talking about the book, and to say it again, it's a book. We're talking about Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. We will link it in the comments if you want to read it. Maybe follow us on this journey. Feel invited to do that. What really stuck to me also now, thinking about the first chapter, is stories. Because it's about personal stories, like real life stories, observing a life happening. And that is really also the starting story. What really showed for me that someone has, however you want to call it, a tough time, and life is happening to her. That is so outstanding for me now. It was a crazy story that got worse and worse and worse. And I was like, now seeing that, it helped me, because it was a real life story, to understand what's happening. But what really stood out for me is, like, what we already talked about. You are in the driver's seat, and the story really is life happening to someone, and someone is not being able, like, consciously to grab the steering wheel, go into the driver's seat and do something and create this life. And that is kind of what is the first aspect of what really is interesting for me to reflect on. Yeah.
Beautiful. I like how you put it, that it is the stories about real people. And what if I'm going to share what stood to me as well, that it's a repeated story.
Yeah.
It's a very familiar story.
Yeah.
Like, I have people in my life who faced something not as drastic as that specific story, but similar. Stressors, things happening in life, and falling into sickness, and struggling with financials. And, it's everyone's story in some way, shape, or form. What stood out is that when somebody takes the steering wheel, when they know that there's a steering wheel, because I wouldn't say most of us, I would say for me, I don't want to generalize. For me, I didn't realize there's a steering wheel. It's like whatever others tell me, authorities in our lives, they can be doctors, they can be lawyers, they can be engineers, whatever you want to call them. It just took it blindly. I was conditioned to just believe whatever information just I receive and live life accordingly. And that there's always that hope when you take that steering wheel. You can actually steer your life wherever you want it to be, regardless how drastic it is. So there's a few stories. There's the story of that woman in Amsterdam, and there's the story of Joe Dispenza himself. How he got to become who he is. It's also a very, very intriguing story. And what stood out is how stress can literally destroy health and destroy lives, destroy careers because of stress. And what stress is, he doesn't talk about it in that book, but touches on the basis of how the chemicals of our bodies, how the thoughts and the beliefs that are in our system changes our chemistry, changes our biology, make us sick. And since we've made that through our beliefs, our thoughts, the empowering side of it, if we change those thoughts, and again, that's the driver's seat, we change the thoughts, change the behavior, and the results will be whatever we want them to be. I know I sometimes tend to just go on and on. I'll just pause here and give you the mic.
Yeah. Yes, and talking about story, how this story became identity. So if you are, and it started with the death of her husband, like a really deep emotional moment, and my grandfather just passed away.
God bless his soul.
Thank you so much. And I was in the driver's seat of my life when it happened, because of who I am becoming and who I am already. So I could take this moment in a different way. I'm so thankful, and I could appreciate everything, his life and everything around it. And it so clearly showed me how the difference is in between facing intense parts of your life when you are kind of in a driver's seat and you know what is important to you, what you can do to you, your body, and everything that is around it and comes with it. And there is grief and there is intense, strong emotions. But seeing or reading the book and this story, how if you're not in the driver's seat and you're not consciously observing what's happening, how this story is becoming your identity is crazy, is still crazy. And what you said is so true, that a lot of humans are exactly in these stories, in their life stories, and not consciously thinking about what is happening and what they can do about it. And that's interesting. And that's, I think, also for me already a part in coaching. If someone, and I think that's, I don't want to say most of the times, but times when people are aware of, I think, getting a coach or going into coaching, see what coaching is. This moment is kind of a breakthrough moment, I think, of realizing there is something, and I consciously want to pause, sit down, think about it, listen to myself, observe what is happening. And this is what I, as a coach, think I can do. I create this space where you can do that. So that is the first link of me, like seeing this story, observing what is happening. And that is such a great tool also where coaching comes in, I think. What do you think about that?
It's a beautiful link you made there. I'll answer that, and there's something else I want to come back to in the
please.
stories that is related to death. That link of creating the space of allowing people to pause, allowing our clients basically to pause, look at what is. If you noticed in the book, he talks about how stress causes certain reactions in the body and chemicals, etc. If we do not allow ourselves, and as coaches, we open the space, a very safe space for our coachees to feel whatever they need to feel right now rather than avoid it. That's life-saving skill. Literally, when you read the book, you realize it's a life-saving skill to open the space for someone to feel what they need to feel right now. And as we know, me and you, and let's share that with our audience, most of us think about that when it's sad or tough or some kind of emotion that is low. What we most people don't realize the upside as well is not always felt. We don't give ourselves the time to pause and celebrate.
Yeah.
We don't know how to celebrate. Like, okay, we finished the task, let's move to the next one. So tying that into having that space of feeling what we need to feel. Also in the first chapter, he touches base on which nervous system you're operating from. Are you in a fight or flight, a survival nervous system? Or are you in the creative nervous system? For me, that's, I will use the term from coaching, coactive coaching, it's the leader within. Are you being in your leader within energy in which nervous system you're being in? Are you in the sympathetic nervous system or the parasympathetic nervous system? Are you on the creative side or are you on the survival side? If you're in survival side, that's where the other concept of, you know, these voices that are not serving you, that comes to your head, they pop up because you need to survive. While in the creative side, you are in that energy of your true self. Let's call it that for now. That's a link that I am making to coaching from the understanding of the first chapter. Not to mention the rest that's still coming your way, Yoma.
And I think the first chapter is exactly the stories that now the rest of the book builds on, right? So going deeper into what is happening and in this situation. So there is kind of already everything in the first chapter, I have the feeling. This is why we maybe can talk about everything. Can you elaborate just a little bit from your understanding about the survival mode? I think that is important.
So in survival mode, he also refers to that, what happens when we are in the sympathetic nervous system, that's the survival mode. The energy the body sends all its energy to the vital parts, to the extremities, to the hands, to the feet, to the eyes. And you focus on the challenge. You focus on the problem. You focus on whatever is threatening you. And I'm quoting that, it's threatening you. And that's not the time for you to be creative or to figure a solution or to figure anything, because your system is just designed this way. While if you can, and we all can, decide what is actually dangerous. Is it a tiger or something that's really coming to eat me right now? I need to truly survive with my body. Or a ping of an email. Or a text message or a phone call. That would cause the same reaction in our bodies. So in the coaching space, we take our coachees into a space of creativity. So through our techniques, through our discussions, basically, we're switching the nervous system from survival into creative nervous system. And that's when suddenly you can be creative, you can expand, you can see, you grow above and beyond. The problem becomes nothing. It becomes something small because you're so big, you're so huge, you're so creative, you can find your own solutions around whatever challenge or threat that you are facing. That's how I am linking these things. And maybe I have a bias here because I read the entire thing for so many times. But yeah, maybe we can talk about the details in the other episodes with the corresponding chapters.
Yeah.
So bear with me, Yormo. I get to
This is why you're here.
To elaborate.
That's your part. This is why I'm asking. So you're the elder here reading the book. And yes, I love that. And I want to point that out for me because that's coming up right now. For me is, I'm not sure if embodiment is the right term, but just the body side of everything. What changed everything for me, and this is what I'm saying to people asking me why coactive coaching is the embodiment part, seeing the human as a whole. And I personally, honestly, I lost the connection to my body. And I was so much in my head thinking, doing great stuff, but it was doing and it was a lot of thinking. And coming to coactive and using the body and the wisdom of the body for me, my life, and all the knowledge that I have inside of me was connecting a part that I was missing and connecting back to myself. Gave me back like the whole holistic feeling of who I'm so much more. I'm everything. I'm complete. That's the part of what we say in coactive, like you are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. It's everything in here. But the body part on one side is so much wisdom and so important that you connect to it. What is also happening in coaching, in the space we create, we go into the body, we go into the wisdom. If you're in the head, go back to the body, and the other way around between doing and being. But I want to point out is what you said also with the chemicals, when we are in survival mode or in these stress situations, and we're having these peaks, that is also affecting not only thinking or whatever, it is affecting our body. This is what you said around it's life. It's dangerous for life because all the chemicals that you have inside that, and if that's happening a lot or you're on a stress level that is very high for a long time, it will cause
sickness.
Yeah, sickness in the end, sickness. And I think
it's literally sickness, yeah.
Yeah, and let's talk about body a little bit, because I think it is so important, and it's when we go to workplaces and talk about leadership and whatever, has a lot of head, but I think not enough body, right?
Okay, let's put it this way. If you're discounting your body or your client's body in coaching, what you just mentioned about the embodiment, whether it's embodying a feeling, whether it's embodying an exciting thing, whatever you're embodying, you're allowing for those chemicals to metabolize. You're allowing them to actually get free and not get stuck. And with this metabolization and moving of energy that happens as a result of moving the body, more freedom becomes available, more capacity, I would say, in our beings, not our heads. I wouldn't say in minds, because mind, it's not only here, by the way. Mind is everything together, working together. So when you free something, you allow yourself to feel it, the capacity of your entire system increase and elevates for you to handle whatever you need to handle. And that's where, if we relax the body and allow for the energy to be redirected to where it matters, the vital organs between the head and the belly button, that's where nourishment, healing, and all of these mechanisms that are available for us happen. If we stay stuck here, we are missing on so much more that's available in the body. And again, in the coming chapters, this would make much more sense, what I'm talking about, and your question about the body. It will make so much more sense when we understand what's going on and how the chemicals are impacting the body.
I'm looking forward to that. You see, I can't wait. I'm already in. How do we get back to the first chapter? I'm kind of lost. I need your help.
No worries. I told you there's 2 points I want to. Once is that what we were talking about, how the stress reacts and the true self. The second part of chapter 1 is talking about mystical experiences, right? That the situations where Joe Dispenza in a meditation would realize that there's no space, there's no time. He sees himself in the past, he sees himself in the future, all within a span of 10 minutes. And even he sees himself in other lives. That opens a complete other door, right, into who we are. If when you asked me in the beginning, I told you I'm a soul, right? So there's this new, again, realization that this is only part of it. This current timeline of life that we're living is a limitation. There's beyond that. When you go into the mystical level of what he calls it later, the unified field, the quantum field, there are infinite potential lives that exist right now. Everything, like infinite potential, infinite versions. You can call them, there's the theories of parallel universes that are all happening at the same time. Once you realize even that, you are in the steering wheel and you can tune into which life you want to have. That's again a complete other level of what is possible in the life that you choose to live. Once you know it exists, once you know it's a possibility, And you know, there's the laws of attraction, there's the manifestations, there's all of these things in the realm of personal development and successful people, visualizations, etc. What brought me to this point was when you talked about your late grandfather. For me, when I know, let's put religious beliefs on the side here. When I know that there is a potential that the soul continues some other way, at some other place, in another experience, in the next level, whatever you want to call it. For me, and this is before you mentioned your grandfather, God bless his soul, I don't feel sad anymore about someone who passes away. For me, it's a graduation from this level to the next, right? When we understand everything is energy, and what animates this body, what makes it move, right? What is consciousness? What's awareness? This is the second chapter, the first chapter, the second part. It sparked all these questions in my head when I read it for the first time. What does this mean?
Yeah.
Interesting, you know? If we want to tie this into coaching, once we allow ourselves to understand that there is that potential, that there is that possibility, suddenly visioning becomes limitless. Yani, we hear this, your only limit is your imagination. So if the imagination was tapped and capped at the physical side, once you remove that limitation, it just becomes everything, absolutely everything is possible. I can engage, I can ask my clients and encourage them to literally have no dream.
Yeah.
Dream. There's nothing that stops you. And I can say it because it's embedded in science. For me, science makes a lot of sense. It's embedded in science. Yeah, that's how I would say the second part of the first chapter is sparked all these questions in me.
Yeah. There's a lot coming up right now. First of all, I love the word mystical. That's something that really sparks my interest. Like, like you said, I'm interested now. Something mystical is happening. And in this at the same time, it is, and I think I can link it, yes, to the first chapter and his story that he told. Like, I have these moments, and I always had these moments that I can visualize very good. I'm very easy with closing my eyes, imagine things, and linking it back to, okay, yeah, that's mystical. And if you connect it, and I think that is very important, that's also what I do in my morning routine, is connecting that to emotions right now. So this is, again, also linked to coaching. Like, what is your dream? I love the question to opening that up. And then going into embodiment and embody the emotions that are in your dream, you can live that right now. And that kind of already is the mystical part. I don't need to do this and that, and this will take me 20 years, and then I can feel like that. No, I can feel that right now. And that is already, for me, that's the mystical part of, there is no time in that sense. I can take, there is no such thing as 20 years. If I'm imagining something that feels like this and I can feel that right now, it just deleted the 20 years. That is time travel, right? And
it is.
That is mystical for me. And that is also, I think, linking it back to coaching, that is also a transformational part to that you can do that right now, here and now, in the moment, is something very special. And I think, and it was, I'm talking about me. That was something that I didn't know. And adding on that, just the second part is how important it is for me now to be in future visions rather than being in memories of the past to change something just blew my mind. And if I keep thinking about things in the past, even negative things, this will become my future, my here and now and my future. And to have the chance to have this future vision coming to life here and now, and if I'm doing these imaginations, feeling that right now, it's here and it will also be my future, changed a lot for me.
You're literally, I'm not sure if you skipped, there's chapter 3. You just described something from chapter 3, which is tuning into new potential in quantum. You literally described how it works. There's a meditation about exactly what you said. And I would allow myself to say it. What you said, it's the thought, it's sending the signal, the thought, which is the imagination. And then feeling it as it's happening right now is the magnet that will bring that experience into your reality. And I was smiling because literally, this is what happens when you understand that everything is energy, that everything in the quantum field exists right now. It's a collapse of time and space. And what was coming to my mind is why, and for me in the past, why did I want to be successful? Why did I want to have that specific house or that specific income or the bike or the car, whatever? It's what you just mentioned. It's I wanted to feel in a certain way. What if I can do that without waiting, as you just said? Just sit right now, close your eyes, imagine it, and allow yourself to feel it, like as if it's already happened. The more we do this, the more we are literally inviting it to happen in our life in ways that we don't really have to know how. And that's what they call manifestation. And that's big part of the fulfillment part of our coaching principles. It's getting what truly matters to you, to feel what you want to feel right now and build the vision accordingly.
Yeah. And that is, again, I'm not a wizard. I started this morning routine and I think it's part of the wisdom I already have in me, like the chapters to come. I will deepening the wisdom by reading the book, but I think it's already part in my morning routine.
Allow me to interrupt you here. You did it intuitively, and that's because this machinery, this piece of technology that is us, our bodies, it's built to operate this way. If we get ourselves out of our conditioning, our whatever thoughts that were put into our heads through culture, through education, through our upbringing, when we get that out of the way and just tap into our true selves, it happens naturally. And I feel that's what's happening with you. You have your practice for a while, and you just realize it intuitively because it's already within every one of us. It's part of how we are built, the blueprint of who we are. And I'm just curious, I don't want to hold that question much longer before I forget it. What is mystical? You said it's mystical. What is mystical?
First thing that comes up for me with the mystical is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling inside of me that is like, ooh, standing in line for a roller coaster. That would be the first picture that comes up. It's already, I'm not in what I think is the exciting part, but just to put myself, maybe that's already happening, right? I'm putting my shoes in the already happening thing. That's mystical part that was coming up the first, but the rest is just, what is it? Everything comes together kind of feeling. It's also a holistic part that is kind of mystical. I see a puzzle that the last pieces come together and then it's like holistically it's full. It's
So what I'm hearing from you, it's kind of abundant expectancy. Like there's something good that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is, but something is going to happen, something good. And there's the mystery part. So mystical, there's mystery, but it's good mystery. It's like exciting mystery.
Yeah. It's, I don't know how this, there's a little bit of, I will never fully understand. I'm trying, and maybe that is kind of what life is all about, to try to find out why I'm here. I will never have the answer, because there is no such thing as the answer. But looking for that, like, is kind of also the mystical part. So just to know, I'm getting a glimpse of what is possible.
Yeah. Because Joe Dispenza keeps saying, demystifying the mystical.
Yeah.
So the mystical is something mysterious, that is exciting, that is jaw-dropping, that is full of possibilities and all of that. So what happens with this book is, through the understanding of our bodies, of our minds, of our souls, of how we operate in this reality that we're operating in.
Yeah.
It gives you this chance to open the door. So the mystery becomes not so much a mystery of how to do it.
Yeah.
But the mystery of, how to reach to something. But of course, there's always the mystery of how this amazing universe that is, everything is just perfect in it, aligns it and happens in a way that serves you or serve us. So I would say this knowledge helps you open the door into making things happen and freeing ourselves from the limitations. And that's exciting.
Oh yeah.
I feel that excitement is coming from empowerment, that I can do this.
Wow. And I just refer back to that. I don't know if we already said it, but the first chapter is called Opening the Door to the Supernatural. So there is this doing of opening. Opening the door is a doing, kind of, right? So you have this door, you don't know what is behind the door. And now that's the mystical part, kind of. And now really, Yoma, go and open the door. What is also something that we can do in coaching is, there is something you are not opening the door, or you are not ready yet. We can do that in coaching, opening that door, experience what's behind it. And then it's demystifying, but I'm going back to standing in line for the roller coaster, because that's a perfect picture for me, because I just went with family and my with the young gun, he's only 5, and demystifying kind of also roller coasters. There are roller coasters where they also are inside and it's dark. And if this is the first time you're riding that roller coaster, you don't know what it is. So the excitement you will only have once, standing in line, because it's the first time you're experiencing that and you don't know what will happen. And the only thing to do to demystify that, but it's part of the experience, standing in line is part of the experience, then going in, experience it to the fullest. It will be awesome, exciting. And I think what is important, there are too many roller coasters on this planet to ride them all. And that is life, kind of, for me, to know that there are so many mysteries, and I would just start opening doors after door after door, experience it fully, and then be excited for the next one to come.
All right. Allow me to build on that. With coaching, what I feel is 2 things that we do to our coachees. First of all, make them realize there are doors that they can open. And when they realize there are so many doors, we also help them to decide what doors that matters to them specifically. Not because Yorma said, that's exciting, you should go open it, or Abdelrahman said, this is exciting, you should do, and someone else, that is good. You would like, oh, what should I do, right?
Yeah.
And then you realize from within what matters to you. And based on that, you go choose the door that you want to try, that you want to open. I just saw that image and I thought it's a good link to what we do as well.
And what next? So the priorities, what is important to you? You see these 3 doors. What is important right now for you? What door is it right now? What is the next one maybe? And not standing in front of 3 doors and not deciding. That's the stuck point, right? Where you just, you know, there are 3 exciting doors, but you don't open one because you don't know what to open. Yeah, exactly.
And maybe a roller coaster can be exciting for Yoma, but it might be terrifying for Abdelrahman, right?
Yeah.
So we also can look at it from a different perspective and see, okay, what would make it exciting for you or something that interests you? So it's really, as you can see, for me, the knowledge of this book led me to, literally, led me to become a coach. I was so excited about this knowledge. I really wanted to teach it to people, right? And then when I got into coaching, I realized, oh, coaching, you don't teach anything to anyone.
Yeah.
There's no teaching in coaching.
Yeah.
But as you can see, it's serving me in the way I coach. It's serving me of who am I being, and holding that belief that everything, literally everything is possible. Once we break down the limitations that are in our heads, and that's the naturally creative, resourceful, and whole part that we started this episode with. We are all naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. All we need is to just realize it. To start with, like, oh, I'm not broken. There's nothing wrong with me. Yeah. I just need to clear some things and just go after it.
Oh, I love that. And I want to add, because that's a feeling that I have like my whole life, being crazy, being different. That is just, for me, that is kind of also a starting point to open the door to, yeah, because it is crazy. Life's crazy. Possibilities are crazy. And
you know what's crazy? Is to think that we are limited.
Yeah.
To think that there's only one way.
Yeah.
That is, we have to conform. We have to follow what the masses are doing. We have to follow what everyone is doing. That's crazy, in my opinion.
Yes.
What's different than being a herd of sheep? Everyone is just following one thing. I'm sorry to say it, but is that insanity? Is that crazy to follow everyone without knowing what's happening? What is it in it for you? For me, that's how I see it. It's crazy not to be different. It's crazy not to explore for yourself. It's crazy not to allow yourself the space, or ourselves, to explore what else is out there, you know? And again, as an engineer, this book, when it embedded everything in it, in science, biology, quantum physics, there's brain scans, there are equations and all of this stuff that's included in the book. That's the demystifying part for me.
Yeah.
That's where I started knowing how to use this body. When you talked about the meditation you did, when you had an open focus and then a closed focus and all of that, we come into the understanding of brain waves. When we are talking which brain waves we're operating from and how does that impact our bodies, our alertness, our consciousness, our subconscious. I mean, there's so much into it. As you see, I'm very enthusiastic about the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would say, is having that knowledge and this understanding impacted and allowed me to be a certain type of coach, I would say. Unwavering belief of what is possible for everyone.
I love that. And I think that was and is reflected in your presence, because I felt something huge when I met you first in Dubai. And I think that's it. You started opening these doors and like glowing of all these possibilities, trying to, how can I make this accessible for as many humans on the planet, kind of energy that just stuck with me. And I was like, okay, I need to keep this person next to me. And this is why I'm so happy that we met. We have this. This is also crazy because I imagined this happening.
Why don't you share that story, please, with our audience, if you want to?
Yes, please. We had a talk in Dubai when we sat together and just had a conversation. And in my morning routine in the future, going into my future vision, there was a moment that looked exactly like we had the talk. So I said myself, no, Yoma, you're not going to past memories. Don't stick to the past. The conversation with Abdelrahman is already gone. Look into the future. And then I refuse to go to the future and I stick to this happening, like looking it from not far away, but from up above. And then I zoomed in and I had the chance to hear us talking. And we were talking about the book that you just referred in that conversation. But we already had this talk when we sat together. So I knew, oh, this is not a conversation from the past. This is a future conversation that we maybe will have in the future. And my morning routine is around 5:30 to 6. And literally, I think half an hour later, you texted me and said, or maybe asked, like, Yama, let's maybe have a conversation, maybe or also a podcast on the book. You're starting reading it. I read it. And it just blew my mind. And I sent you an audio message like, I don't know if this sounds crazy, but I saw this coming and now it's happening. So now it's really full circle moment sitting here together with you and having this conversation that I knew would happen. And I think it's linking back to I'm in the driver's seat and you are too. So we can make everything happen. And I think this is something we wanted to make happen. So it's happening.
Absolutely. And that, absolutely. And I love the fact that you talked about, you hinted to it, but I asked you and invited you to share it. Because again, this shows how reality works. I mean, and again, we can talk about specifics of it later. You didn't have any expectations from it. You just had the thought, you felt the feeling, whatever it was in your practice. And then 30 minutes away, unbeknownst to me what's happening, I just texted you that message, right? And now we're talking about it. It's happening right now. We're recording this. It's mind-blowing. I'm very grateful for the fact that you and I are talking about this and potentially inspiring others to take the lead as well, sit behind the wheel of their own lives and understanding how they function and what makes them tick, and be of service. The best thing of life is to be of service, at least for me. I feel so honored to be where I am today. Something I want to share about the stories, if that's okay with you.
Yes, please.
I didn't mention in my introduction, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I think I did. I want to share the story of, I am also, when I was 30 years old, I got diagnosed with cancer. So in the first chapter, there is shared a story about someone who got also cancer. For me, even going through that cycle and getting sick and going through the chemotherapy and all of this stuff, and thank God it's been so long I forgot even about it and I'm cancer free. Even getting that sick did not wake me up to reality. I did not get out of the stress. I did not get out of the vicious circle of running in life behind things that really didn't matter much to me. This book is something that helped me to live a life of purpose. This book also made me realize that if I knew what I knew at that time, I will not have cancer to start with. And even if I did, I will never take the traditional route. Let me just say that. And again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a specialist, I'm not encouraging anyone to do anything in that direction. I'm just saying this book is just such an eye-opener on so many different levels. And by reading it, I am approaching life on a health side completely differently. I don't know why I felt the urge to mention this, but I thought it's the time and place to share that even something that much rattling didn't change the course of my life. But this book did.
Thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable. I think that's just what also the listeners to connect. We are not perfect. We are also not broken. And there's nothing to fix. It's just us talking about that helps us, and also linking it back to coaching. And it is, I think, the journey with Coactive helped me to become who I am becoming. And I think the book is, for me, also now the next door to go even deeper. Maybe that helps me. And I think I said that to you when we first met, that, and I think this is why you said that, because I want to add, and you don't need this illness, this cancer, this strong emotional happening in your life. You don't need that. You can start now living a fulfilled life. And this is, I think, also in my coaching purpose that I want to, that's the message that I'm trying to also throw out there, that you don't need these moments of crashing down. In business, it's like burnout. I see a lot of people like, I had the burnout and now I'm changing everything. And I'm like, why did you have the burnout in the first place? You don't need the burnout. And I think that is so important. I want to invite everyone in conversation with us, coming to a coaching, and know that nothing needs to be happening. Just start changing something.
Let me build on what you said. The cost of not feeling good, and I want to emphasize the cost of not feeling good majority of your life is so drastically high. Why I'm saying this? You said like people would wait for the burnout and they would live a life that is not fulfilled. They will live a life that is not meaningful, and thinking that at some point I will start feeling better. I would reach to the point where I said I was 30 years old when I got cancer. 30, like, what happens in 30 that somebody gets that? I was someone who played sports. I was a Muay Thai practitioner. I was living, in a sporty lifestyle. Yet because of stress, I got it. I was doing something I'm not enjoying in life. And that's what is the cost. If you don't live a fulfilled life, it can be cancer, it can be something else, God forbid, for people. But the cost of not living a fulfilled life is so high, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. And the reason of it, we just got conditioned that this is what life is. We did not explore what doors are available. We did not understand what the reality that we're living in. That's why it's really instrumental, especially with the stressful life that most people are living right now, to get to know themselves. Yeah. As you see, I get passionate about it.
And this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Abdelrahman, thank you so much. Is there anything, with a look on the first chapter, that we need to mention? Because the episode should be about the first chapter. Is there anything we missed?
No, I don't think that we missed anything. It's just, as you said, it gives the umbrella and opens the door. And now the next chapters we will dive deeper into the nitties and gritties of it.
Yeah. I would love that. Let's do that. So Abdelrahman,
looking forward to it.
And I think that's also very interesting for the listeners to get to know us better, so you can be part of the journey. And it's already, and I thank you for that, opening up. I get to know you better. have a regular conversation with you. And I think it's so interesting also for the listeners that they can just go along with our journey. So again, if you want to read the book, we will link it in the descriptions. We are thinking about doing this once a month. Let's see, to get from chapter to chapter. Maybe we'll have 2 chapters at once, whatever. We are free to do anything.
I can see you're already burning to do more.
I need to keep on reading.
Thank you, Yorma, for hosting me. It's been a pleasure. It's really exciting to have these kind of discussions. It's always fulfilling. It's always really fulfilling to share these concepts. I would also encourage anyone, if they have any questions about coaching or about whatever, to feel free to reach out to you, and we'll tackle them.
Yes, let's do that. So, Abdelrahman, very last question is, what are you taking from this conversation?
How instrumental, how important this work is. Knowing someone to know themselves, and the privilege that I am in, of being in the coaching space, to be of service in people and holding that vision, holding that potential and possibility. The book is just, again, it's a reminder why I started all of this work. Yeah, so the takeaway is I want to do more of this. Also, how exciting when you see someone doing something that is so familiar and seems so hopeless, and they turn it into something so beautiful, how powerful that is to be shared with people.
Yes.
And you?
This is part of my life purpose, making every conversation a deep one and a meaningful one. And this was a really meaningful conversation, and this is what I want to spend my lifetime with. If I have a conversation, it should be a conversation like this. Thank you for that.
It's an absolute pleasure, Yorma. Thank you.
And so if you want to follow this podcast, feel free to subscribe. If you are hearing the podcast, if you're looking at it on YouTube, feel free to subscribe so you get the chance to get our next conversation about maybe chapter 2 of Becoming Supernatural and what you experienced today. Everything around us being coaches, experience coaching by yourself. Feel free to reach out to Abdelrahman or me. We will link our websites, LinkedIn profiles, whatever you need in the description, also the book. And yeah, thank you, Abdelrahman, for your time and your wisdom. And also thank you for you listeners to stick with us, and see you in the next pause, because you're sometimes more than you think. You're already amazing. See you next time. Bye.